So your company got you a Rav4 Prime plug-in hybrid. Now what? Let's go over some basic features. As you can tell from the display in front of you, it's a little different than your typical vehicle. The left-hand side, where the tachometer typically is actually going to be your power meter. This tells you how much electricity and gas you're using to help maintain efficiencies. So right now, it's on the lower end near the charge cycle. Typically, it's going to be at this point when you're idling, like I currently am, or anytime you take your foot off the gas pedal, it'll go into regenerative braking mode, which is going to extend the life of your hybrid features. When you're in eco, that's going to be your best gas mileage, so try to keep it in that range. Power is really going to be, you really shouldn't get into it. Now, if you are, it's typically because you are a speed demon or you're just enjoying the punch that an EV has while getting up on the highway. Just a little bit to the right, let me zoom in a little bit of glare there, apologize. You have some of our active safety features. So you actually have that little crashing car, that's your lane departure warning. And the two lines above that are going to be your lane departure warning systems as well. If you go to one line or the other, it'll beep at you, nudge the wheel just to make sure you're still awake and functioning. If you do that too many times, you'll actually see a coffee mug show up in the middle of the display saying maybe you should take a break. These features are easily turned on and off right on the wheel. Let me move it so I can show you in the right thumb piece. So that is your lane departure. Press and hold that until it shuts off. Going back to this display here, you see this EV up here. That means we're in EV mode. Go figure. So when you're in EV mode, you're running entirely off of the battery. There is no gasoline being utilized at all. The one thing I tell all of my guests about an EV or a hybrid vehicle, because when you first turn it on, very rarely do they make noise. So an EV will tell you when it's ready, right there. When it's ready, it's on. If you don't see ready, vehicle's off. Easiest way to explain it. We also have in the middle here our EV range, so how far we're going to go purely on electricity. This is an estimate. Below that, you have your hybrid vehicle, so total range that way. The reason I say this 41 miles is estimated, depending on how you're driving, you're going to see more or less range depending on it. So what I mean by that, if you're doing, highway speeds, it's going to drain the battery faster than if you're driving back roads of under 55 miles an hour. Right now, we're averaging 2.8 miles per kilowatt hour. That's what that is there. Ideally, 3.3 or higher is where you're going to get your better efficiencies. Top EV drivers are in the 4s. So we been a little heavy-footed on this one in particular. A little further to the right, you have your gas gauge in the upper right-hand corner, and then in the lower, you actually have your battery gauge, rather. Right now, we're at 100%. That's going to deplete. Once that's gone, there goes your full EV capability. After that, the vehicle automatically changes over to a regular hybrid, and you just continue to drive it and get fantastic gas mileage. All right. Down here is different drive modes. So you have Eco, Normal, and Sport. So let me show you what those look like on the screen here. So Eco mode is green. That's the one you're going to want to leave it in most of the time. Basically what it does is it just makes the vehicle that much more efficient. And you won't really notice anything beyond better gas mileage. Normal is white. Nothing special there. And then we go to sport mode. It's angry red. Now this allows you to actually access all 302 horsepower available to you. This vehicle could definitely get up and go. I don't recommend it, but you can. Eco is what you're gonna, like I said, want to leave it in more often than not. In your center display, yours may be set up a little differently. Going into menu, you'll be able to play with it and get to where you want the different rectangles to be. Now, if you are running Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, you will need to plug it in. So to do that, we go to menu, we go to setup, and then we go to projection settings. In here, you'll have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. These are both on. Yours may not be. So start there if you're trying to hook up either one of those phone types. Also in here, you can go to customize home screen, myriad of different options in there for you to utilize as well. Down here is going to be your USB-A. That is where you connect your phone. It does not connect if it's in the cigarette style lighter. Some more buttons down here. So automatic EV, that's the default mode. As you're driving around, it's automatically going to determine if it wants to be an EV or hybrid. Not much you need to do. If you want, you can lock it in either hybrid or EV mode. A lot of times you won't need to, but if you do feel the need to put it into hybrid, you can just press and hold that button until it indicates that on the screen. Trail mode is what I used to call the New England button. So as you're driving around, we've got that wonderful white stuff that's coming to us. Go ahead and press that. You can see on the center display again that you got the rocks on the bottom. No rocks, rocks again. So what trail mode does is it just gives you a little bit better traction in the snow. Nothing like a four-wheel low locker where you have to worry about going a certain speed or anything like that. It's all electronic. The vehicle figures itself out. You just have to drive it and you're good to go. The other thing to note too is anytime the vehicle is in park, the parking brake is on. As soon as you take the vehicle out of drive, it automatically shuts off. Backup camera, in case no one's ever told you guys, that red line is 1 foot from the bumper, and that hash mark is actually the center of the vehicle. So just a point of reference for you if you were unaware. One last thing to show you. Open the charge port just by pressing it. Take this out, hook it right there. Now that is your charger. Now one thing that you may have seen before or may not, this little thing up here is a metal pin. So once you plug in the charger, there's going to be a pin that comes down and locks it in place. Therefore, no one else can take the charger out of this slot. Just be mindful of that. You will always need to have your keys with you to unplug it. That should be all. Enjoy the new Rav. If you do have any questions, feel free to reach out.